Oh, you mean on?
Yes. The mic is on.
Sweet.
Maybe you could share it. All right.
Just a second. I'm still going to the intro. Okay.
Waiting for Scott to get the intro. Now he's got it.
Okay. Welcome to the Two Hippies, One Drunk Road Wife edition. In this show, we dive in a little deeper to what it's like traveling the country in a van with three comedy buddies. In our on the road episodes, we hit the highlights. And here, we'll break down more of the day-to-day activities, things we are learning about each other, as well as focusing more on specific themes that may be harder to cover on a week-to-week basis. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes as well. It's a huge way to help us keep growing this and moving the journey forward. We do regularly mention our Venmo, Eric Fady, and we understand it's always tough to ask for money, but a way to also help us out, if you want something in return, is to buy some art from Tyler, which he sells, or some tarot readings from me as well. With that, let's get the show going.
All right.
All right. So
clear your throat and get ready.
Yeah. So we're both dying yet again from our third illness, or my third illness.
Yeah, I would say
your second.
My second
on this trip. Mm-hmm. Turns out when you travel all around the country touching stuff, some of it gets you sick.
Yeah, that's why I always say don't touch everything you see in a museum, but you keep doing it.
Wait, do you think I have some sort of museum illness?
You have a museum illness.
Like some sort of like old Egyptian, just like flesh disease or something? I was assuming this was a regular cold.
No, it's an old Egyptian style thing. It's a plague. It's
right.
A full-on plague.
So yeah, this week, basically, we were trying to do this stuff. Eric is out of town for the next couple of days. And I swear, my voice just got worse immediately when we started this, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely got worse. I don't know what you did or what's in that cup of coffee, but it made it worse.
Yup. But anyway, Eric is gone. And so we kind of had decided for our Road Wife episodes, we were going to do one each sort of catered to all three of us. And I did mine the first week on my tarot and some of the tarot readings I've done on this trip and how they've related. And for this one, I was going to talk to Tyler about he's been doing a ton of art and busking and selling that stuff on this trip.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a cool discussion to talk about that we've kind of, you hit on it a little bit and on the road episodes. And
stuff, just mentioning it. Any specific questions you have for me, interviewer?
In fact, I do.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
This feels almost professional.
Right. Okay, so my first one would be, knowing you since forever and knowing this was not always a thing you did, why did you start drawing? First, when did you start and then why?
I mean, I used to, when I was a little kid, draw like Super Saiyans. I was like, and I got okay at it. At one point, I felt like, I mean, I don't know if I looked back and actually saw those drawings, they might be atrocious. So I would be curious to see. But when I was a kid, I was like, I'm kind of good at drawing. Ooh, I can draw muscles and stuff. But I stopped that when I was probably 11 or 12 or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then I started back up about 4.5 years ago. I started, essentially, one of my close ex-friends of mine, we were hanging out and looking at the stars, and he had told me about a book that he wanted to create that was about an emotional healing journey of someone, and he wanted to make it. And we kind of came up with the name Stargazing, and from that I've always wanted to do some kind of animation. Really, the drawing stuff stems from wanting to create a cartoon. That's what Stargazing Productions is, spawns from that. The cartoon I want to make is called Stargazing, And I've had this dream for the last, like I said, about almost 5 years. And I started animating first. I thought that was the way to go about it. It is not. You need to learn how to draw before you can fucking animate shit. I found that out real quick. And then pretty much from that, I started doing that, and I went to drawing because I was like, I need a skill. I need to actually create this shit better so that I can watch it without cringing. And then I really just delved into drawing from other influences. I had some people in my honestly influenced me in that fact because they were good at it and I was jealous and I wanted to get to that point. I never knew if I was going to, but it definitely gave me the drive to do that thing. Yeah. So it started, about 5 years ago-ish, like really actually drawing, because I was doing probably, I don't know, a drawing every month or two when I started. And now I pretty much do it once a week. I had a period of time where I was doing it every day to advance my skill set, but I get lazy. So,
No, and I remember for quite a while you were messing with animation, but it was like the almost like South Park Adult Swim level style
very
animation.
Very puppety, like hey, my mouth moves. And it was okay. Like it was fine for it. Honestly, the first one I ever did, there's a Dude Bro skit that I did back when I started that I thought was pretty all right. I still to this day think it was pretty legit, but it wasn't good. It wasn't fluid. And honestly, I'm somebody who loves animation. I want it to look as real as it can in that cartoony way. Yeah. So that me wanting to make a cartoon made me draw.
That makes sense. And like, it's funny too, and this will kind of lead into the other question, but I do think it's like most people, if they wanted to make a cartoon, there's a reason the Adult Swim kind of animation style exists. And it's because it's quick and it's easy. Cheap and you can tell a story with it. And like, you've always been like, a goal of yours is you do want to create a cartoon at some point in your life, but it's really important to you that it visually be very appealing.
Yes, you don't I don't like that ugly, choppy animation. Like I can't even think of some examples right now, but like, I'm not a fan of just pasting something on. Honestly, South Park is a good example. I hate that shit. It's gross. It's unsettling. It's not what I want. I love beautiful art. I love when it actually flows together. There's a thing with animation where you can work on 3s and 4s, which is most cartoons kind of do that. So it's 24 frames per second. And if you do 3s and 4s, it's a little more choppy. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's cool. But I would love to work on a level of having it be full on 1s and 2s. So insane. Wait.
I would just read nothing big.
I just wanted to see what this guy was saying. Hello, Anthony. Again, don't shave your head.
That we survived Eric. That's not the head shaving guy.
It's not the head shaving guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We got another YouTuber. You're not the head shaving guy. You sure?
That was some German guy.
Okay.
Parvo or something.
Parvo. Okay. Nonetheless, yes, we have survived somehow. Yes. Just that, like, I want to have it be fluid. I think that Hayao Miyazaki is the best animator in my opinion, hands down. He's made some of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. I've watched them almost every year of my life since I found out he existed, and I would like it to be that. And to get to that level, you really need to draw a lot.
In like, okay, I was gonna say too, because one of my questions was, whose art do you really draw inspiration from? And I know Hayao Miyazaki. Is that how you say it?
Hayao Miyazaki is not how you say
reading. What is it?
Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki. Yes. You're blowing right through the D and the E.
Yes, okay. It's Japanese.
Like, okay, fair enough.
And he is Japanese.
Him. I know you've mentioned before. Actually, the cartoon Boondocks.
Boondocks is fucking one. Yes, that's true. I mean, they have high quality animation for that fucking show, which is incredibly impressive. Like, some of the fight scenes in that are some of the best fight scenes in animation, in my opinion.
Yeah. What
which
else
is
do you
wild.
really like as far as?
I mean, there's so many things. The thing is, my spectrum goes all over the place. I love that like extremely beautiful art, but I also love Adventure Time, which is working on 3s and 4s, and you have a little stick figure guy jumping around town. Like,
so what is it you like about Adventure Time that wouldn't apply to a lot of
the concepts, the concepts, like the extreme creativity with each episode, and that show honestly deals with a lot of deeper subtext stuff than pretty much most animation. I feel like that show can get really deep into your heart in a
Yeah.
lot of ways that just I don't know. I feel like a lot of children's shows are kind of colors and lights, and it's not very interesting to me. And like if you can do that kind of childish stuff and have a deeper meaning where I enjoy it and it makes me think.
Yeah.
And I think about those quotes and that show all the time outside of watching.
Okay, but then that's like the writing and the story and everything. Do you
Yes.
actually like the animation in it? Something like
Mm, for that show, yes. If I was gonna do a show like that, no. That Duncan Trussell show.
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight Gospel, I feel like does it better. Like the animation is better, but kind of like Adventure Time.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
reminds me of that Adventure Time-esque stuff, but it's more detailed and it's more fluid.
Yeah.
With it.
Okay,
but
so
it is like Adventure Time's a children's show, so it doesn't need to full on have that like epic feel to it.
Well, and the Duncan Trussell show did what, like 8 episodes?
Yeah.
As opposed
To
to
a lot. Like hundreds, honestly.
So what about drawing appeals to you over other mediums?
Over other mediums.
Yeah, I guess like when I was writing that question, I was
weren't thinking about.
Well, no, I would say 2 ways, because like, you know, if you've got something to say about drawing as opposed to like you do a little bit of painting, you do a little bit of I'm trying to think of like what other kind of. You're not a big fan of digital art. I know
not unless it's animation.
Yes,
I feel like digital art is you have to learn the program and you can make some really cool stuff. I just feel like it's a little, I don't know. It's a difference between how you say you don't like to read books on a Kindle.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not the same thing as holding a book.
Yeah.
And when you have a fucking pen in your hand, it's 1,000 times different when it's on paper compared to on a thing. I tried to do that with my animation software where I'd like create art and stuff, and it just wasn't the same. It was too clean. It was too just like, I don't know. I couldn't feel the pen to the paper, and that matters to me.
Yeah, and then I guess the other half of that would be like, what do you like comparing it to something like music or film or writing? Like, what appeals to you
about drawing?
The most about drawing?
I would say creating little scenes. I don't entirely. Is like I love all those things. Like it's not drawing isn't higher on that list. That's is what I would say. I like to draw because I feel like I want the thing in my head that I think is cool. When I look at other stuff, I'm like, ooh, what about adding that to it, or what about doing this to it?
Yeah.
And then I know my style can bring it when it comes to that stuff. It's not better than that.
I wouldn't say that you would think it was better, but just like I think like you prefer animation to live action.
Well, hands down, if you're talking about animation, yes, but you were saying drawing.
Yes. Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Animation, because you can do anything with it. Because you can create an entire world. You can go to space. You can go to the middle of the center of the earth. You can have people be pixies and fairies and have it be legit and have me cry over this little tiny witch like or something. Like you can anything.
Yeah.
You could have an entire show about living in a comet and what that means. And in live action, it feels cheesy. It feels stupid. It doesn't have that magic to it. You turn up the filter, everything to make it look glowy. Looks like shit.
Yeah.
And Avatar. And I just don't. I feel like people discredit animation and go, well, what if you did that live action? And it's like, you couldn't do fucking One Piece live action. That sounds terrible. That sounds
Yeah.
gross and weird and not fun. Like, I want a 2D animation because that's the only media that could actually convey such an epic story with superpowers and weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because I would even agree. Like, I would say, like, my favorite medium has always been writing, and it'd be a lot of, for the same reason, where you can do anything with it, as opposed to, you know, either nowadays they can't even
like
do
live
anything.
action. It's like there's some stuff you can do that is impressive to me. That's like kind of like I love Atlanta. I've been watching that show. It does weird shit, but it's weird reality stuff. So it's like in our realm of reality, kind of. You could see, even if it is over the top, like an invisible car or whatever. It's like you could see that happening. In animation, it's like, what if the car talked and you could wrap around you and you could go to space with it? Like,
there's no limits beyond your own imagination.
Yes.
Like,
and animation is just like, anything you can think of at all. You can create an entire world.
Okay, any advice for people looking to get better at drawing?
Do it. I feel like I hear that a lot because I've like listened to a lot myself, like watching YouTube videos and stuff. But like, it is true. Just do it. Do it again and again and again and again and again and again until your fucking hand hurts. And like, honestly, I don't do it to that extent. Do, 5-6 hours a week if you can do it, and you'll get better at it. You will get, if you do that a day, if you did 2 to 3 hours a day, you're going to be fucking way better in 2-3 weeks than you ever thought possible. I feel like it's practice. Even myself, I feel like when I'll go through lulls of not doing it a lot, it's like, I have that skill that I can pull upon, but it's not at that peak level. It's not at like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've done this 1,000 times. It's like, I kind of have to get back into the rhythm. So I feel like just do it a lot, as much as you possibly can. And I feel like a lot of people, I hear this all the time where it's like, I'm not talented or I don't have the talent for it. Inspiration is a different thing that is hard to get sometimes. And some people have more of that. I totally agree. But anything I can draw, anybody can draw. You could draw it. You just have to fucking put the work in. If you practice and practice and practice, you'll be able to make something cool. Not that I think my shit's the peak level of amazing art, but like, I'm okay at it at this point that I feel a little confident in it. And if you want to get to that point at all, just keep doing it. I've been doing it for fucking 4.5 years. Yeah. And in between that lulls of not doing it that often, and then times where it's like I'm manic and making like 15 drawings.
And it has been a thing where it's like you were okay to begin with, but like I've seen you pretty massively improve.
Yeah, I mean,
over the last couple.
Literally, I made a post on Facebook the other day about how just one of my first drawings compared to one of my drawings I drew like a week and a half ago or something. And it is, for my own eyes, is like, what the fuck? I mean, I did a lot, I guess. I've been learning stuff.
Okay, so do you have a favorite experience that has come through your art? I know you've had some pretty cool, interactions with people.
I would say,
and stuff like that.
Man, I feel like there are like two different kind of things that happen that are really cool in my opinion. I've had a couple people use my get tattoos of my art. That shit's wild to me because it's like that's permanently on you forever. Like that's insane to me. People I don't know. People are just like, hey, I saw your shit and like I want to get a tattoo of it, and then like showed me it, and I'm like, oh my god, like that's forever on you. Like, and that's something I created. That's pretty nuts.
Yes.
And then probably the other one is when people will reach out to me in Messenger and say like, what you made really spoke to me, and then break down what it means to them. Like that shit is crazy to me because it's like a lot of the time it has nothing to do with what I was intending. No. I was intending to be like, this looks cool. This seems cool. I like the way it looks. It's colorful. It's fun. It's like whatever it is in my head. I just drew it. And then people, sometimes I'll have meaning behind my art. I never tell anyone when those times are, but sometimes I do. Most of the time I'm just throwing it into the wind and like, I want to draw something cool. So
Yeah.
when somebody actually reaches, and I've had that a couple times, people message me and be like, holy shit, this like blew my mind and helped me out in the mindset. It was a thing I could look at to be like, that's how I feel. And it made me feel less alone or sad or upset about that thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and I would say like it's funny. You've not always been, because like we've worked creatively, and I've seen you work creatively for most of our teen and adult life.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And I feel like you say you don't put meaning behind it a lot of the time, and I believe consciously you don't. But you've always been somebody who's never really like you've operated more on feeling with that sort of stuff in general. So that doesn't surprise me at all to hear you kind of say that.
yeah,
but
because
I
most
think
of
that
it's
stuff
just
does.
like I want to draw something cool, and I think something would be cool on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it manifests itself. I start with, if I'm drawing a face or whatever, like I just start with drawing a face and then I add to it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, now it's done because it looks cool.
Do you ever get done and be like, oh my God, this has some sort of meaning or feeling to me that I didn't really intend, but now that I can see it.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Because fucking art is magic. And like
Yes.
you're literally like creating an image in your own brain on a piece of paper for everyone else to see, which is fucking mind blowing that I'm at a point where not perfectly, but what I see typically gets on the page.
Yeah. So okay, switching gears, because we're about 21 minutes in, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about playing guitar. Yup. Why did you start playing the guitar?
To do comedy songs on this tour.
That makes sense.
Literally that. Like, honestly, we've been talking about, I've always wanted to. I've always had an affinity because I feel confident in singing. I feel like I really like doing that. I think I used to have a group of friends that we would just play music off the cuff, and I'd come up with whole songs that everybody would be laughing at. And like, I'm like, I know that I could do this in some way. I don't want to just do improv songs. I feel like that's a little cheesy. And when we decided to come on this trip, I was like, I need to do that because with stand up, it's always been, I don't know, this thing I had to overcome. You know this.
Yes.
Like it's just been this frustrating thing to me where it's like I like the community of stand up. I like performing. I like making people laugh. And I never really like just standing up there and telling people my perspective. And it's not like it didn't go well. I was in 2 of the semifinals of Funniest Person in Grand Rapids. So it's like I've had things happen because of that. But it's just my passion for it was never there. So it's like I didn't pursue it like I should. And with music, I've always kind of had a real passion to make people laugh and joke around with making silly songs, even without a guitar, because I didn't play up until this past August. I bought a guitar and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. So yeah, this comedy tour.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense because I feel like, we ran shows for years. You would do it and everything, but you were always kind of like, something's lacking. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
And I tried, and I did have a time where I really did like it. And I honestly felt like it was some of my best sets when I had the piano and I would do like little fucking songs up there. That was like one of my favorite things doing stand up. It was just, I didn't have the technical skill with a piano, and a guitar seems more manageable.
Yeah.
It seems like I don't have 50 keys in front of me. I have just 6 strings.
So you've done a little bit of busking on this tour, like
begging for money. Yep.
Yes. What has been harder about busking than you've thought, and what has been easier?
Getting people to give me money is harder.
Yeah,
I would say that for sure. Because it's not even, the thing is like, I have a couple of comedy songs that I dabbled in when we were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But they're not songs you want to be like giving this guy money for. In my opinion, it's like, go see a show, you'll think it's funny there. Yeah. But when I'm on the side of the street singing this fucking comedy song, no one's snickering. It's weird. It's silent and awkward.
That makes sense. You probably just want to create an atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to like make some music. A couple walking by can be like, "Ooh, we had that experience.
Yeah.
We listened to this guy sing good." And I have one song that I wrote that is not a comedy song that I sang a couple times in New Orleans and got a little bit of money. Just like I think it was like $6 from a couple different people. They gave me some money, and I did think it was weird in New Orleans because my art is something that like I'm proud of. And I tried to sell my art in New Orleans. Nobody bought it. And it was not expensive. It was like I was selling it for $5 a print, 10 by 8. Like, and typically when I'm not busking, I'm selling those things for $20. And that's not a lot either, but like it's way more than I was trying to sell it for.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird about that. I thought that my art would sell. And that more people would kind of stop. But New Orleans was the first time I ever did it. So, and it felt a little weirder. One of the things that was easier, I didn't get nervous. I feel like I'm so nervous when I go up in front of people on stand up or whatever, but I did not get nervous just playing music out in front of people on the street.
That's funny. I wonder why that is, because I tell you, like, if I think of it for myself, I go like, I don't get that nervous going on stage. If I were doing that, I would be terrified because there's no structure to it. There's nothing. What is it about that is?
It's way easier to me to fuck around.
Like, okay, yeah, that
like
makes sense.
I feel like when it comes to music, that's how I learned how to even sing with that kind of like somebody just playing guitar and me throwing it out there, like start singing about some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like it was the thing I did. Me and a couple of my friends would do that, and then we'd have friends come over, people there, and it never embarrassed me.
It feels like a jam session or something as opposed to...
That's going well. So like it makes me not worry about that. And then when good thing too in Charlotte, Charleston. A woman did buy my art, and a little kid gave me $1 for busking. And that was pretty cool because I did have a couple of people around me, like just listening and like being like, "Oh, you're pretty good" or whatever, and that was cool.
Well, and you know, it's funny, like it just to really quick hit back at it because you were talking about like New Orleans or whatever. You know, one thing I had said to Eric that I think we said to you later on too that I thought was absolutely true is like New Orleans felt like the NBA of busking.
Yeah, dude.
Like it was really
full bands.
Yeah,
people with trumpets. And like you could hear them while I'm playing. Like, hey, do you want to listen to this guy who barely kind of knows how to play guitar and can sing okay? Or like this full band down the street that is just doing it for free.
Yeah, and they have outfits on and like a setup and everything.
Whole crew.
Yeah, no, totally.
And then you got me literally not far enough away. You can still hear the trumpets. And I'm trying to play my music over it.
Yeah.
And like New Orleans was next level with the busking. Because Charleston was great because there was like one dude out there with the saxophone.
Yeah, Charleston.
And I kind of went away from him.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't hear him. And I had my own thing. And like I said, some people stopped, listened to my music, and then gave me a little bit of money and bought my art there. So that was really cool. Now I've only done it twice, and I want to do it more.
Yes.
I feel like especially just sitting there with my art out. Maybe I should go out there for like a couple hours in one of these places we're going to next. I feel like I could sell art.
Yeah.
$5 a print. I feel like people are doing that.
Okay, so I was gonna say too, like, because I know you've brought this up to me before, and I thought it might be an interesting thing to talk about. What is it like being the musical guy at comedy shows?
Awful. Until it's not. I feel like that's the thing. It's like not the best. It's always initially nerve-wracking because I've had a couple of people make comments and joke about it on stage before I get up and show them what I'm doing. Like, if it was afterwards and they're like, "Oh, fuck this guy," that would suck.
Yeah.
That would suck. But it'd be more like, okay, I get it. Like, you saw me, you didn't like me, you have an opinion now.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's before I go up. And that is frustrating. But pretty much always, like, there's been one time I can think of that it didn't go well after a dumb comment was made. But pretty much always, I go up there and people are like, holy shit, like you did it. Like we're actually worried about you. Literally, we've had 2 different places say that to me. Like we were worried about the guy with the guitar, but man, that song fucking slaps. Like you're good at that.
One of them was a pretty big comedy show in New Orleans, which like you're saying very musical city and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
In the chorus.
I forgot about that. That was pretty wild. And honestly, that is one thing that's fucking crazy to me. People sing the song with me.
Yeah.
Before the song is done. And I know it's like repetitive, like, you know, thing, but people singing with me has been such a wild thing.
I'm trying to think, what was the one show where you said somebody said something and you felt like it did afterwards?
That fucking last show we went to, that shitty open mic in Charlotte.
Yeah, in Charlotte. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
She was like, if you're going to play music, play it outside. And before I even got up there, and then it just didn't go that well. And it didn't even go terrible. I've been in rooms where it's like, not a lot. I had like 3 shows that I've been like, oh, that was a bad show. Like, I hated going. Nobody laughed. It was weird. I was up there with a guitar, and it was clear that they were like, no, not this guy.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it wasn't that. Some people laughed, some people chuckled, but it just felt like it went flat a little bit. And she kind of ripped after. I can't entirely remember.
Well, that was a weird, very amateur mic, even. And like,
I'm not even trying to justify it. Sometimes you suck, man.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. I just would even say in that case, like, you know, Eric's friend Matt Kennedy said that like he thought that all 3 of us seemed like the most professional people there, that he highlighted you in specific.
Yeah.
So like,
and I did that night, like, even though I felt that way, the bartender was like, hey, you were the person with the guitar? Like, awesome. I don't normally listen, but I could hear you and you did great.
Yeah, that's been a weird thing I have noticed too with the whole playing the guitar at places. Is it's funny because I feel like, okay, like if Eric and I are doing stand-up, either people are laughing or like that's the only real validation you get. Maybe some woos, maybe something like that. It's either there's either laughter or there's nothing, and you're steering towards the laughter. You have this thing where it's like some people do genuinely enjoy the music, so sometimes it will turn into people like singing the chorus or something,
or
like
wooing.
That.
It's like, wait, what? Okay. Like, I guess you can woo while I play this. I mean, I'm not against it. It's just I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
But it is a different thing because you don't have people typically woo during the middle of your set unless you're like, does anyone here like Coke? Like, and it's like woo or whatever. But like for me, it'll happen because I sang something good.
Yeah.
Or something, which is weird to me because then it'll kind of be like, you should be laughing, but I guess you like the music too. So like in my head, that's kind of how it goes.
Okay, and then you kind of touched on this before, especially with the art. I mean, you kind of already answered this, but this was just the last question. What do you hope to accomplish with these things long term?
Long term, do it. You know, I would like to, with my music, I'd like to get paid gigs, honestly. Like, I don't want to be fucking doing cover songs. I know Eric loves them, and that's fine. Cover bands are fine. I think it's whack, and I don't want to do it.
Yes.
So if I could make a little bit of money just doing my original, either comedy songs or my original songs, honestly, I'd like to pursue more of doing music open mics because like that is something I'm more confident in because I really get to showcase something. I'm more confident with my voice, not my guitar playing. Like I played for 7 months and I mean, I've been pretty consistent with practicing and playing or whatever, but it's not like I'm not insanely good. That's a 10 years down the road that I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking good at this thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm not at that point. Music, or singing, I've been doing that for a long time and I can do okay. Karaoke nights are a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so that was it. That was all my questions.
That was it. So a little about me and my art. I don't know if anyone cared. We still had some people listening.
No, absolutely.
Got some comments on there. Somebody's like, caught you watching. Is it like
caught you watching Anthony? It was
the guy before.
The guy before. I have no idea what's going on.
What is caught you watching? Like, is he talk shit about us? And like, she's like, well, you do watch him every week.
I don't know. He says your drawings are really cool and unique, so I doubt that.
That's true.
I don't know.
True.
But
I don't know what's up with that.
I will say we will be back with my episode on Wednesday, which will be me talking about different supernatural stories at all the different places we've been to so far. So
And that's gonna be cool.
gonna be
And
that.
Eric comes back on Tuesday, so we will have like an on the road episode this Thursday or something along those lines.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. All right. See you later, guys. Thanks.
Peace.